Hey guys, how's it going? I'm recording at night, so it looks like the lighting's a little weird in the garage. I look like the whitest person in the world. Let's go ahead and get started. So you just finished watching Living on $1, which is one of my favorite things to show. I love showing that. I hate I could not have shared that with you this year, but I hope you really got a good sense of really the barriers that exist for certain countries to be able to develop economically. And here's just a list. If you want to pause and add to the notes that you had, this could be just things when I watched it again that I noted, like for economic barriers, the informal economy, the inconsistent salary that the farmers have. Primary economy, there's no real diversity in the economy. It's mostly primary sector jobs or agricultural jobs. The cost that exists for school, the infrastructure from the disasters that have hit, and just the poor infrastructure in general. Cost of utilities, the barriers to get loans, the environmental conditions are pretty clear. And then social, like the language barrier, poor diet, school versus work balance, a high dropout rate in schools, big families, which leads to high cost, healthcare quality and cost. So all of these are barriers that exist to development. And there was a few things in the video that were discussed. It could be solutions to those barriers. One being the savings club that you saw where all the families kind of pull their money together. But the bigger one that I want you to really note from the video was the microfinance loans that women in particular were receiving to do whatever they desired to do that, whether it's to open a store or for what other purpose. But when we talk about women trying to engage in economic development in the developing countries around the world, microfinance loans are a big asset to allow that to happen. So just make sure maybe go back in the video the last 10-15 minutes and check out some of those stories again of the women in the community in Guatemala to get a sense again of what microfinance loans can do. So as we look at development and the way that the world has developed over the last 200 years, there are a few problems that we have to kind of track as I'm going to move myself over to this side of the screen. So what types of things has development brought and what are problems that exist? So I need to move myself back. Here we go. Let's find a home right here. So we have seen, first of all, the natural resource depletion. So natural resources all over the world, whether that be coal, timber, whatever it is, some renewable, some non-renewable. The last 200 years, thanks to the Industrial Revolution, which we'll start getting into next week, has really depleted resources all over the world. And that has led to a trend of mass consumption. The fact that we have just dug and taken all these resources, it creates a society, think Rothschild Fifth Stage, of mass consumption. And we make and go through a lot of crap. I mean, we go through all sorts of stuff. Look at how much trash we have every week. We have landfills and dumps and all these things. So we are a society in the developing world of mass consumption. And because of that, because we consume so much in the process of doing that, we have left and created pollution. So, when we think about water and all these things, it's interesting with the coronavirus happening. Venice has been shut down, and because of the lack of industry going on in Venice, the canals in Venice, the water is clear. Go look that up. It's really an interesting thing, but it shows, again, when our society is humming, we create pollution. And one of the side effects of that has been links to global climate change. So with the increased carbon emissions across the world and how that's leading to changes in our long-term climate. So all of these things are results of development. So again, economic development is great. I got 3 toilets in my house. I mean, how blessed am I, right? I got 3 toilets. But at the same time, what has led to all this economic development are these trends that objectively are not great. So the question is, how do we develop the developing world? But we do it in a way that doesn't lead to high mass consumption, resource depletion, pollution, and perhaps the lasting effect of global climate change. So that brings us back to a concept we talked about briefly in Unit 1, and that's sustainability. So in order to develop in a sustainable way, we have to use resources in such a way that those resources will be available in the future. That is not a non-renewable resource. That once if we're developing based on that non-renewable resource, eventually one day it's going to run out. So how do we create development that is based on sustainable resources? And we also want to think about a way that when developing and gathering resources, that it's done in a way that doesn't damage the environment. So that there's not collateral damage, includes like water pollution, air pollution, and these things that over time, 200 years of industrial development has certainly done. So again, the question is, how do you take development into the new world, or not the new world, the developing world, but it's done in a sustainable way? And that leads us to a couple of concepts. The first one is called ecotourism. And what we're seeing in Central America, Sub-Saharan Africa, places around the world, is that in order to develop and to bring money into an area, there is a lot of development happening in the field of ecotourism, which is basically taking your environment and then making it a tourist attraction. So this is I forget the name of what it is, but I think in Costa Rica there's a national park that's based in this jungle in this area, which is extremely beautiful, and they really developed it into a tourist location. Certainly you can take African safaris and can go see the lions. Here's Simba, Nala sitting down here, and it's good times. I watched The Lion King today. So again, the point here is that ecotourism is something that is not going to create pollution necessarily. It's not going to lead to global climate change. It's not going to lead to resource depletion. But what it does is it brings people there so that they spend their money. And when that money is spent, then the local areas in those countries have money to spend on, let's build better roads. Okay, let's invest in an industry here that makes this place a lot more attractive for people to come move. It also creates jobs. If we're going to have a national park here, and people are coming from the United States to visit the Costa Rica, we got to build a hotel. Okay, when we build a hotel, all right, now we got to have people to work in the hotel. Okay, now that we have like gas stations and other services, restaurants located around the hotel, and there's jobs there. So now people have a sustainable job. They're not working in the radish field all day, and they don't know if they're going to get $9 or $1, and that inconsistent money stream that you saw in the video. Now we know it's going to come in constant. So the point here is that ecotourism is a way to create a sustainable development area for a localized country or a localized place in a country. So there's a video I've tagged and attached that I want you to check out. It's about 8 minutes long, and it gives you more details on ecotourism as a way to achieve sustainable development. But at the end of the day, not every place is beautiful. Not every place is a tourist opportunity to bring money from the outside. So in a local sense, ecotourism can help, maybe on a national level, on a regional level, but in terms of international, it may not have the sticking power that other goals can have. So we have ecotourism as kind of a small scale solution. The big scale solution is what are called the UN, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And these are 17 goals established by the United Nations in 2015 that, if achieved by 2030, will establish a worldwide climate that is focused on sustainable development and can curb some of the excesses that economic development has had in the past. There are 17 goals. All of them interconnected. So it's not like one goal. If you achieve one goal, then that has no effect on the others. If you achieve one, it can help you achieve others as well. So what I'm going to do here, and this is going to lead into the assignment that you're going to work on. Oh, here we go. We got a nice little page here, just to kind of give you an insight on what at least the first part is. And you can see what the 17 goals are here. Okay, and there are a variety of different segments of society, but again, they all can kind of have a connection. Like if you eliminate poverty, you're probably going to lead to better health, right? And if you eliminate poverty, people are going to eat. So all these things are kind of connected together. So there's a website that you're going to be linked to, the assignment that you're going to have. And this is the UN Sustainable Goals website. So each of these goals you can click on, the 17. I'm going to click on one here. It's 13. Take urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts. And then when you read more, it's going to give you all sorts of information on it. Now, we're going to have a project that you're going to be working on this in depth, but this opening assignment you're going to have, there's a little article that's written along with it, and then like it gives you all the goals. But then you're going to go to that website, and then each goal you're going to summarize. Okay, you're going to say what the name is, and I want you to paraphrase it. I don't want you to write. I don't want you to copy and paste, right? Just paraphrase it. Make it a phrase, a sentence at the max for the name of goal, and the explanation is explain what's it supposed to do. And that's just basically you exploring each goal and then looking to see what things are being done about it or what's being attempted, blah, blah, blah. And you go through here and you'll do this for each of the 17 goals. Wrong. That is not what you're doing. Let me rephrase that. So you are going to go through the website and look at the goals, but what you're going to do then, and I forget this whole column here, okay? What you're going to do is you're going to pick 10 that you view as the most important, and you're going to rank the top 10 and explain basically why that goal is important. So you're ranking and then explaining why you feel that goal is important. The summarized thing must have been another assignment I looked at today, so never mind. But you're just going to give an idea here and a little insight into why that goal is important and what it can do to help establish economic development in society. So again, basically you get the instructions here. Once again, paraphrasing the goal and then explaining its importance and giving a short argument for why it fits on the ranking that you have. And again, all you have to do is 10 of them. You don't have to do all 17. So just picking 10, explaining the idea behind the ranking, and of course paraphrasing what the goal is. So I apologize for that misunderstanding on my part. It's 10:34. As you can see, it's 10:34 in the evening, and I am tired. Let's see. I think that's it for today. So what I'm going to do also is post an explainer video about the project for the Sustainable Development Goals that we're going to be working on that we are using Flipgrid for. So that's something that I'll get to on the other side. But I think that's all we've got today. Let's see. There's my announcements I'm going to get out to you. So yeah. So basically all you're doing is for this opening assignment that is due Friday. So you got 2 days to work on it, is going through, looking around at these goals, picking 10 that you view as important and ranking them, and then explaining why it is important and why it is ranked in the position that you have it. And again, this page you will access much like you did for the Dollar Street thing, you'll access it on Google Classroom. So if you got any questions, let me know. Again, you got 2 days to work on this. This is going to need to be done fairly quick. And then that's it. That's all. It's time to go to bed. See ya.